Hello everyone, today's poem is Daya, a Daya poem from the Book of Songs. The title very likely aroused a popular idiom by Confucius actually. 见贤思齐. So when you see a man of wisdom, you are very likely try to catch up with him. 贤 is a person of wisdom. 齐 means to equal. You keep the same level. You're equal to something. So in this idiom, 见贤思齐 means I saw that wisdom. So he has a very high level of wisdom and with very high standard of moral standard. So I'm a normal person, so I would like to catch up with him. I like to be a man with wisdom, with moral. So next time, if you saw your model, either a hero or either a writer, a scientist, you can tell him 见贤思齐. So you expressed two feelings with this idiom. Your praise, you'd admire to your model. At the other hand, it's a self-encouragement that I would like to catch up with you. I want to learn from you. So it's a very nice, useful idiom. And in this poem, it was wrongly interpreted like a lot of the traditional explanations. It explained like 思 has no meaning. 齐 means very decent. So let's get to this poem. The poem very likely is a eulogy to King Wen, and it's reflected in the second half of this poem. And so just keep in mind, it's very likely associated with a real event, a sacrifice to King Wen, and this poem is the eulogy sung to King Wen. Okay, the first paragraph. 思齐大任，文王之母，思媚周姜，京室之妇。大姒嗣徽音，则百斯男. So my memory, so my mind goes to the lady, 大任. She was the mother of King Wen. And my thoughts, my memory also goes to 周姜, the lady 周姜. He is the housewife of the town, 京室, the capital. 大姒, the lady 大姒, he inherited all the virtues and sons, and he followed the lady 大任, the lady 周姜, and he has produced hundreds of sons, hundreds of descendants. So there's a lot of things actually background. So this is some of the ABC for the people of Zhou, but it's quite a lot for today's people because there's a lot of the history things. First thing first, the first sentence mentioned the lady 大任. So he is the mother of the King Wen. So his husband was so-called Wang Ji. So this is another figure. He was honored as the first king of the Zhou dynasty. But in reality, the real king or the first king is King Wen. So you can see so many poems is always about King Wen, but they never, the Zhou people never related the merits, the victory just to one or two person. They will always contribute those merits, those deeds to their ancestors, a bunch of people, to his father, to his grandfather, and to everybody, all the ancestors of him. So this is the things, but you can see from the sequence and the quantities of the poems, how many poems is about King Wen. So that's for sure. Most of the eulogy poems is about King Wen. So he is the real founder, the first real king of the Zhou dynasty. Okay, the first sentence actually expressed the thinkings, the memories to the mother of the King Wen. The second sentence mentioned the lady Zhou Jiang, or sometimes you will see Tai Jiang, because there is two lady of very important lady in the early Zhou dynasty with the family name Jiang. Jiang is the family name. So this is the Zhou Jiang or Tai Jiang. He is the wife of Dan Fu. Dan Fu is the grandfather of King Wen. Thus, Zhou Jiang is the grandmother of King Wen. And the third sentence mentioned the lady Daci. He is the wife of King Wen. And in this sentence, it's very clearly mentioned the merits, the deed of his wife, Daci. The lady Daci is she gave birth, or she managed to produce hundreds of sons, and this is the real and most important assets for the Zhou people to build a new dynasty. So this is a very, very clear understanding and philosophy for the Zhou people, that the family, the brothers, they are the foundation, they are the cornerstone of the new dynasty. And so Daci actually gave birth roughly 10 sons, and all her sons finally became a state lord, a key state lord, scattered around in the country. And here it's mentioned hundreds of sons, because the marriage of the Zhou people, the lord is, there is a first lady, the true real wife, mentioned everywhere, like Daci here. And a lot of her sisters will marry, come with her with the marriage. So like, let's say 9 wives. We have another poem, I've just forgot the name. The standard marriage, the lord of the states will have 9 wives. One is the real and decent wife, mentioned everywhere in the history book. And he will also have another 8 wives from her wife's family or cousin or whatsoever. So with 9 wives together, King Wen have hundreds of sons is possible. And all the merits always go to the lord or go to the female lord. So the women actually, the wife of a lord has a very, very high level social standards. She almost share the same social levels with her husband, with the king. In Chinese, the lord was so-called as Jun, and his wife was so-called as Xiaojun, the junior lord. She's only just under him, or basically I think he's equal, because from the philosophy of the ancient philosophy, the universe is by the heaven and the earth, and the human structure, the family, simulate the structure of the universe. So the Lord is the heaven, and his wife is the earth. The main function of the heaven is to produce, and the main function of the earth or his wife is to brought up. So everything in between the heaven and the earth will have a good living. The heaven drive and produce everything forward, and the earth gave the wealth, gave all the needed food, water, everything to brought the creatures in between to grow up. So this is the basic philosophy for the ancient Chinese, and so basically they share a quite similar social status. Nobody is more important between the Lord and the wife of the Lord, and in such case, but they still have some of the boundaries to define their scopes. So basically, within the door of the family, or for the Lord, within the palace, his wife in charge of everything. And for all the affairs outside of the palace, the state affairs, the Lord, the king, was in charge of that. So they won't have a conflict, because they have different functions, and they have a very clear scope defined. There's no place for them to have a conflict. Well, in reality, it doesn't work always like that, but that's the ideal world, the dream world for the ancient Chinese. Okay, let's get back to this point. So you can see this chart, the grandfather, the grandmother of King Wen, the mother, the father of King Wen, and King Wen doesn't mentioned in the first paragraph, but actually he was strongly implied. I will tell you why. And the third line is the wife of King Wen and himself. So the first paragraph mentioned all the three generations, King Wen, his father, and his grandfather, and the mother. But in this point, it doesn't mention the Lord at all, the three generation Lords at all. Is it? No. Let's check the first sentence. 思齐大任, my memory, my thinking about you equals to Lady 大任. So just with 思齐, the two characters, actually the poet was referring to all the three generations, the lords and the wife of the lords. Are you clear? 思齐大任, I'm thinking of you, and my thinking of you equals to Lady 大任. And it also reflected that the social status of the queen, let me use the word queen, the social status of the queen actually is very, very high in this poem. He even don't mention the name. They didn't refer to the king directly, just mention the queens. So if you know the philosophy of the ancient China, it's not very weird, things quite normal. Okay, the second paragraph. So in the second paragraph, we know it's about King Wen because the eulogy is in the form or in the language talking to someone you are praise or in your memorize. So this poem actually is just like the poet is writing a letter, writing a song to the King Wen, and he was saying it or sing this song in the family's temple, in the ancestors' temple to King Wen. So you can see that in the second paragraph. 惠于宗公，神罔时怨，神罔时恫. So this sentence actually neglects the subject. The subject is King Wen. Just imagine you are standing in the family's temple. You are talking, you are singing a song to the ghost of King Wen up in the heaven. My father, or my great king, King Wen, you do great virtue, you do great deed, you do great good to this family, to this public interest. Zong is the ancestors. Here it refers to the Zhou family. Gong means the public interest. It's not the public. It doesn't refer to all the people in the country. Here, the public is a small scope. It only refers to the noble persons, especially the Zhou families crossed in the country. All the people share the same blood with King Wen. So it's still a big amount of quantity of people. And so all the King Wen created the huge interest for all these peoples, and they share the interest together. So that's a public interest. 神罔时怨, the God never blame or furious. The God never frighten us anymore. So here it tells us that the people always are very, very respect or afraid of the heaven, because the heaven from time to time will show their fury, 时怨, or blaming to the people. And from time to time, the God will frighten or damage to the people. This is a 时动, so from time to time. 动 is frightened. And because of the King Wen, he do such a good deed, this also pleased the heaven, not only the ancestors, not only his descendants. It also pleased the heaven. So the heaven will never do that again to us, never show his fury, never frighten us anymore. So this is what it's about. So this is all the thankful feelings to King Wen. Okay, the next sentence. 刑于寡妻，至于兄弟，以御家邦. So he built the rules, the laws to his own wife, and he spread his rules, his laws to his brothers, and based upon all his rules and laws, we can defend our family, defend our country. 刑 is law. So you can see from this character that it's by the slaughters, by killings. So the law and the kill is always two sides of the same thing. So here is a praise to King Wen as well. He made a very, very strict law, not only to the normal people, but he applied the law to his own family, to his own wife, and to his brothers. So we have talked about how important his brothers was. They are the cornerstones of this kingdom. And but King Wen was very strict to them and have a very high standard for his brothers, for his wife. So this tells the two sides of the King Wen. He do great good. He do great good to his family, to his brothers, and but also he was very, very strict to his family, to his brothers, because only with this very strict law and ruling, they can defend their family and their country. So 家邦, be careful of the term 家邦. It's 100% to the term 家国 today. Well, 家邦 is a more accurate word compared 家国, because 邦 means state and 国 refers to the capital. So in the ancient China, when you combine the home, the royal home actually here, with the states, so it's the concept of the whole countryland, the whole country. If you plus the royal family with the capital, it's not very accurate to use that concept to represent meaning of a country rather than the capital, right? So why we change to 家国 today? It's roughly since Han Dynasty, because the first emperor of the Han Dynasty, his name is Liu Bang. So to pay respect to him, so his name cannot be written, cannot be used since then. So people had to figure out to use another word to represent the meaning 家邦. So finally, we use 家国 till today. Okay, we have go through the first two paragraphs, and just imagine if you are a Zhou people, you are just standing in the family's temple, you are singing this eulogy to King Wen, and in the first paragraph you said, "Oh, King Wen, my memories to you is just equals to my memories to the lady 大任, to the lady 周姜, to the lady 大姒." So the first paragraph actually tell us the memories goes to the 3 generations from King Wen to his grandfathers to his fathers. So all the 3 generations, the king and his wife. And the second paragraph is just to King Wen, is the praise, the song for King Wen's great deed to his descendants. He made a great fortune for his descendants, and he made a very, very nice, strict law for the Zhou dynasty. With all these together, they can defend their homeland, they can defend their country. Okay, the third paragraph. 雍雍在宫，肃肃在庙. So there's a bunch of people very quiet and decent in this palace in King Wen's temple. So the family's temple basically composed of several temples of their ancestors, and the most important temple is the King Wen's temple. So the third paragraph is just like a bird will give us a overlook to this big grand ceremony to King Wen. The first and the second paragraph is just like a very real sense that the readers just like standing side by side to the poet and hearing the poet was singing this eulogy. And the third paragraph is just like an overlook. Okay, the next sentence. 不显亦临，无益以保. So 不显 is also a very essential, a very easy concept for the Zhou people, but it's really hard for today's people. They are standing in the King Wen's temple. So we have seen in a lot of the poems that they will have an actor to play, to act as the king when that come down to the ground and talking to the audience. But in this poem, apparently, there's no actor act as King Wen's ghost. So 不显亦临 means the King Wen doesn't show up, but it's just like he was here. 临 is someone is looking down on site. 无益以保. So 无益 normally has explained another way, but I think it just means the shooting game. So in this grand ceremony, we don't have the shooting games, but still by the fortune, by the virtue of King Wen, we are protected. Because the shooting game basically is a strong symbolization to the protection, power to protection. So in this ceremony, there's no actor of King Wen. That's the first thing. The second thing, they don't have the ground shooting games. But even without those things, they feel the King Wen are with them. And the King Wen's power is with them and still protecting them. Okay, the next sentence. 肆戎疾不殄，烈假不瑕. So today, 肆 means today. Today, the war, 戎 is war, 疾 is the illness, the pandemic. Let's see. Today, the war and the illness doesn't come to us anymore. So that's all the fortune and deed that the King Wen brought to us, right? So, and 烈假不瑕. 烈 means the people with great virtue. When they died, they will be listed in the family's temple. You see the 4 dots under. So that's the fire, which means the fire. And the people listed in the family's temple, they can enjoy the food in the sacrifice. That's the greatest honor that for the ancient Chinese. So they can enjoy the sacrifice, they can enjoy the food after they died. And 假 I think it's a long word, which means 加, which means put something on someone. So 烈假 is two things that the power or the ruling from King Wen. So here is actually it means since the King Wen founded the Zhou dynasty, there's a bunch of people. They do a great deed for the Zhou dynasty after the King Wen. So some of them are listed. Some of them was given a great fortune. So all these actions they contributed is to the King Wen. So it's by King Wen those people are listed, and by King Wen those people are given a great fortune, a piece of land, a lot of slaves, a lot of gold, a lot of women. So that's all the action of 家, to put the real asset to someone, to put the honor to someone. So with the understanding of 烈假, so this sentence just like this. For all those heroes, for all those great people of our Zhou country, you gave the honor to them, and when they died, to put them listed in our family's temple, in the pension. And for all those people still alive, the asset, the happiness is all by you, my Lord, King of Wen. So basically that's the thankfulness and the praise to King Wen. So the third sentence actually is a praise to King Wen that by your great fortune, we don't have war, we don't have illness, and you leave us, you went to the heaven, you are still quite busy. 不暇 is no time, so here is busy. You are still quite busy to list all the heroes of our Zhou country, and you gave fortunes to the heroes still alive. Okay, the first paragraph. 不闻亦式, 不谏亦入. So we don't listen, but we still follow. We still keep to the rules. We don't give advice, but we're still coming in here. So it's a little confused. Just imagine you are standing in this family's temple and you are talking to King Wen. This poem is all to the King Wen, right? So let's put the King Wen at the very first beginning of this sentence. King Wen, even we don't listen to you, we still follow your rules. If we don't come here to give your advice or give your report, but we still come to this place. So this actually is not talking about now, it's about talking about the daily life. So normally the ancestors' temple, the family's temple, is a very, very decent and formal place. But because all the Zhou people, they feel so dearest to King Wen, so they like to come to his temple all the time. Even there is no ceremony. So the ceremony means they talk to the King Wen and they listen to King Wen, right? So even there's no ceremony, so which means they come to the family's temple. It's not a ceremony, so they don't hear the words from King Wen, but they still come to hear, to feel something of King Wen, right? And even it's not a ceremony, they don't come here to make a report or want to listen to the advice of King Wen, but they still come here, get into the King Wen's temple and feel and express their memory to King Wen. This sentence reveals how different King Wen was. So for a great king, normally we pay respect to him, we honor him, we are afraid of him, and we are thankful to him. But very, very few or never we feel so intimacy with him. We are so eager to be close to the king. And King Wen was definitely different. Okay, the next sentence. 肆成人有德，小子有造。Today, the adult of Zhou people, they do a lot of great deeds. And the young people, they are well educated with virtue. The next sentence. 古之人无斁，誉髦斯士。The people have died. They won't feel shameful. And all those hairy people, they are so praised today. The character Yi has a very strange explanation in the history. Normally it was explained as not good, not lucky. But just look at the very ancient form of this character. The right part is someone holding a weapon and cut on the left side. The left side is just like someone was cut on the face with 2 lines. So that's one of the punishment in the ancient history, to have his face cut with lines and put ink to make it like a tattoo for forever. So that's a very, very shameful for a noble person, for a citizen. And so it's a shame, it's a punishment. So with that explanation or imagination in mind, so 古之人无斁, so which very likely could be explained, the passed away person, our ancestors, they won't feel shameful because they don't lose their face, right? Their face won't be cut. They don't lose their face. The face is could be the most important thing for Chinese even today, right? So our ancestor, because previous to this sentence, it's a reporting to the King Wen that the people today, we are very, very good. We have done a lot of good things, and the young people are well educated, so are in very, very good status. So you won't feel shame for us, right? And the last sentence is also quite something similar. Mao means the people with very hair, and this is a very normal description for a very nice guy in ancient China. Very nice looking with virtue. So normally that's the meaning. And so today all our people, nice guys, are very well praised. Yu is praised. So which means King Wen, you should be satisfied with your descendants, and you should be finally in peace, because everybody is in the best situation, is everybody is happy and enjoyable. Okay, that's for today. So it's a quite simple and straightforward poem, right? As far as you can imagine, you just stand by the poet and sing around and listen to what the poet was singing and talking to King Wen, right? And this is almost quite similar for today's Chinese. So in the Qingming festival, the festival to do your sacrifice to your father, to your grandfathers, to your ancestors. So the Chinese will go up to the tomb and serve the food and wine in front of the tomb. So it's just 100% like the things happened in the Book of Songs, right? And the other things is you talk to your father in front of the tomb, just like your father is alive. What do you talk? Report how your life is, your sadness, your happiness to your father, just like your father is still alive. And the other thing is you may be very, very careful to everything around. The symptoms, some symptoms maybe symbolize your father is talking to you, like a bird standing on the top of a tomb, singing a song. Dance a little while, a fallen leaves, a strange swing of grass, a curl of wind. So anything might be a signal, a piece of words from your father. So that's a dialogue. That's not just reporting to your fathers. So you can see something we are practiced today is deeply rooted of at least 3,000 years ago from the time of Book of Songs. Okay, that's for today. Bye-bye.